somebody else. We said they're all off limits for this assignment. But what we're working up towards with this, they're going to be free game later on, but that's after the book is done. Oh yeah, pass those in. Sorry.
What was that?
Sapiens, whichever letter that was.
C.
C. Yeah, C. Cool. 2, 3, 4. Okay. If you guys just get your old notes sheet is best for right now. So if the notes from last week, that page, if you have it. If not, let me know. I can give you a new page. But if you have your old one, it's best. Alright, so I mentioned last week what we're doing is we're kind of looking into the character, building up to our final assignment on the character, which is going to look at dynamic, static, flat, round. Right now we're building up by looking into what traits are we going to start to consider, and then how do we quote, how do we say. So that's a lot we're doing today. This is actually a pretty short assignment though, and it's going to kind of look the same for all of us because we're going to workshop it, but we'll talk about that later. The first thing I want you to do though is to pick a character. If you already have the notes from last week, you can just go ahead and circle it, and if you don't, just make a note for yourself and write it down. And then after that, yes, sorry. What you're going to want to do after that is just pick what traits you might want to look at. Do you want to? Okay. What traits? You need two traits of them. So for Rosara, obviously, you don't need two if you wind up picking her. But this does mean you got to do a little bit of extra legwork on both of these quotes that you'll wind up having to use. Were you guys all set? Oh, I'm sorry. What we're doing today is looking into the characterization. So kind of picking a character and looking at how do they get characterized, what do we learn about them, what kind of a person are they in the story. And we're building up to a big look where we look at how they relate to. No. This you should have already from Friday.
Just one character?
One character. So pick one character, two traits. And if you want to pick something about them that's not on the board, that's cool too.
So what are we doing?
Pick a character and two traits. You weren't here Friday, sorry. Friday, what we did was we went through a big list of our main characters, and we wrote down a lot of different characteristics, different traits they exhibit, so here's why they're called characteristics, right? So for example, with Nacha, we put she's affectionate. She's very motherly towards Tiva, and we see that in certain key scenes. For Rosara, she's pretty nasty towards Tiva. For Mama Elena, she's, well, also pretty nasty towards her. We decided that we don't have enough stuff to write about Mama Elena, so we're going to leave her alone. But then she changed a lot. But for these characters, we have certain things we can write about. So what we're going to do is pick two things about them, find two quotes, and show how those quotes really bring about that thing. So if you guys remember where a key scene was where, for example, Nacha showed that she was very understanding or affectionate. I put page numbers up there for a reason. It's kind of a hint.
So just pick the character.
Yeah, which one do you think you'd want to write about? And then what do you think you might want to say about them or explore about them? Which trait? If you do think there's one missing, if you think there's something else we can say about Pedro or something else we can say so far, because we're going down 2 chapters, right? Something else we can say about Rosara, feel free to pick that. And I'll help you find a section of the book, because we have to quote it and use the quotes.
Do I have to write, since I don't have it, Do I have to write like all of that, or can I just write on the one person I want to
Just one person.
write? Okay.
Just one person. Everything else up here, we're going to, as far as you copying all of it down, we'll worry about that later. Most of this is from Friday, and we'll deal with making it up later when we need to.
So I pick the train, that's not here, so I gotta find the book where it says.
Right, and then we'll deal with that details in a sec. And I'll show you right here with, actually I'll show you how to handle this stuff with Mama Elena, because she's off limits. After we get the character, so I'll put mine up here. Alright, get the traits. For me, even though she's off limits here, and we're off limits because she changes a lot, she is a very different person at the end of the story than she is right now. If we like her now, or we don't like her now, it's going to change. So I want to say that she's very strict. And I also want to say she's very traditional. Okay. Well, now I gotta find the quotes for that. So I gave you guys the page numbers that you can pick from. What you'll want to do is kind of find your quotes and jot it down in these notes. These are kind of our brainstorming phase here. So you want to take down the quote in the notes, find out, okay, what can I cut out, what can I leave? If you look at page 11, real quick, just for this example. Alright, for page 11, if you a little bit down, close to the top, this is Kiva and Mama Elena talking about how Mama Elena won't let her get married because of the whole tradition about the youngest daughter taking care of the mother. So Mama Elena says, you don't have an opinion, that's all I want to hear about it. For generations, not a single person in my family has ever questioned this tradition, and no daughter of mine is going to be the one to start. For my two traits, I could use this one quote. I might, we'll see. So I can put that one right here. Just kind of put it down at the bottom. I don't want to use the whole thing though. So what I do is this. Just some ellipses there. So I cut out the certain section. That's all I want to hear about it.
That's one.
And I'll put the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops. Okay. And I'm going to just go ahead and leave it at that. Now, so let's pick the quote. What do you want to use? And then maybe just make a note to yourself, oh, this is for, this is just for that she's traditional. More in the notes here. When you do the quote though, and actually put it into the writing, make sure you put the page number of it afterwards. Okay. So you want to take a minute real quick, and does everybody have their traits for the character? Two of them? Two of them. Unless you're doing Rosara, then you got to do a little bit extra work on the one trait. Yeah. One character, 2 traits.
Okay.
We're all good? Okay. Take a minute and find the quotes you might want to use. I put the page numbers up on the board that are good places to start. If you want to use a different quote, that's fine. Just go ahead and double check with me, and I'll see if it'll work for you. I guess we'll just take a couple minutes real quick. And go ahead and copy down the quote here. This way you know what you could or what you shouldn't chop out.
Right here.